I think this is the last hurrah.
Sure it is.
Pray to God.
We thought that the last time, but
7 minutes after 8 o'clock, the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
Ryan is here from the North Liberty Community Food Pantry, and we appreciate you being here. I'd ask you how you're doing, but I know the answer. You're busy.
Yeah, we sure are. We sure are. Good to be here this morning, but we just set a single-day record with serving 94 families on Saturday.
Wow.
So we continue to see more and more folks coming out to the pantry.
And refresh my memory, your pantry is kind of like a grocery store in the fact that you don't just hand people boxes. They can pick and choose what they want.
That's right, exactly. We set it up as a choice model, so every family gets a shopping cart and they get to shop and pick from aisles just like at a grocery store.
And I would imagine with the harvest season upon us, you've probably got lots of fresh produce.
Yes, we do. Thankfully, we've got a lot of neighbors that happen to be gardeners and are bringing us extra cucumbers, zucchinis, and tomatoes.
Yep, that's the big harvest right now. Our sales reps, Debs, gave me a whole bunch of them, and I can't eat them all at once, so I made tomato sauce out of them, and so I've got that for the winter time and
nice.
when I want it. So
yeah.
But it's good of people to not just let them rot in the field or throw them out. Get them to people who want it.
That's right, because we've got plenty of families that can put those to work right now.
Now you've had some visitors, and our experience, or will be having some more visitors on the political landscape at your pantry.
Yeah, I think what we've been seeing is the outcome of some of the legislation that's happened both at the state level and what's coming at the federal level. And so we have been inviting both candidates from both parties and elected officials from both parties to come and tour our new facility, but also have a roundtable discussion on food security. So on Friday, candidate Zach Walls visited, who's running for U.S. Senate. And we had a tour and a roundtable discussion on food security, and we talked about a range of topics, including the reconciliation bill and the Healthy Kids Iowa pilot project that the state operated.
Yeah, we did a story about that earlier this week, and we talked to your cohort, John, from the Coralville Food Pantry, who in the article was quoted as saying, basically, you got no heads up, and you guys were responsible for administering the Healthy Kids Iowa program, basically handing out boxes of $40 worth of food to eligible people, and if you've got, one of the things that struck me was, if you've got 5 kids, you're eligible for 5 boxes of food. Well, not everybody has room for 5 boxes of food.
That's right.
And so there's a storage issue, although the food's real nutritious and everything. And whereas the EBT program, the summer EBT program that the federal government approved, but Iowa rejected, gives you basically the same $120 per kid per summer, and that way the families can spend at their own pace.
Right, and when you're talking about trying to buy healthy, nutritious food and produce, that usually you don't get all your produce for a month on one day.
Right, of course not.
So
yeah,
right.
it's a challenge.
Exactly.
It also is. It's an insult.
It really is.
It's an insult to people that are poor. They all of a sudden, because you're poor, you don't make the right choices, and and on occasion, a kid deserves a treat. A kid deserves a cupcake or a candy bar or whatever.
Right, exactly. And that's what I think a lot of the feedback we heard from neighbors that went through the car lines was that they would prefer to pick out what they wanted. And we actually ended up seeing a lot of the food from those boxes returned to us as donation because families couldn't or wouldn't eat some of the items in that box.
Well, at least they returned them. There were...
Yep.
During lockdown, when some of the local areas were handing out boxes of food, some of the lower income families were just jettisoning the loaves of bread and extra food out on the parking lot.
Right.
Which is that's a total waste of food.
Right. Well, and there certainly was waste with this program too, and that's exactly why we have moved away from doing boxes of food because it doesn't work for everybody.
No, I mean, chicken may be a great for somebody, but some people don't like chicken. It's just that's why grocery stores exist.
Yeah.
so that you can go and pick what you want.
Exactly. Well, and that's the dignity and respect that we try to treat our neighbors with. And to your earlier point, a great story that I have about choice and sometimes choosing foods that might not seem the most nutritious but still have such a valuable impact. We had a 6-year-old, or soon to be 6-year-old, come and shop with her mom. And she turned the corner and jumped up and down screaming, "Mom, they got him, they got him." And she was pointing at pink frosted cupcakes that she asked for her birthday party
Oh,
that
that's
was
awesome.
that weekend.
Yeah.
And Mom said there's no way we could have bought these at the grocery store. And
Right.
so this made her birthday party.
That's great.
Yeah, and
That
so
is great.
exactly, opportunity to have dignity and respect, and right, those are not things that families are purchasing with summer EBT or with SNAP assistance. They're buying produce, they're buying protein.
Yeah, and that's something that our politicians, specifically Chuck Grassley and Kim Reynolds, have said. If you give them this money, they're just going to blow it. I mean, essentially.
Yeah, and actually almost verbatim that's been the case. And that's why we have endeavored on inviting people in so that we can provide some education about what a pantry looks like and about what people accessing a pantry are actually going through.
And you're in North Liberty, and North Liberty has got going through a period of tremendous growth. Mm-hmm. This whole community is people, drive around and see all the pretty buildings and construction and everything, and they don't get it that 1 out of every 5, and we do this with Table to Table all the time, and the statistic holds up. 1 out of every 5 in this community is food insecure through no fault of their own. You can be, and again, I've used myself as an example this year because I'm a pretty good example. My wife has got ALS, and I drive a nice car. We got a nice house. You would drive by and think everybody's got it made, but our medical bills are, and it happened like that, just boom.
Yep.
So you can't judge people by and make a blatant, a blanket statement saying, well, they're poor, they don't know how to eat, they don't know what they want, because these food pantries are not just for the poor. Anybody at any time can find themselves in a position where they need to use them.
And you've seen a lot of first-time visitors to the pantries in the last year or so, have you?
Yeah, that's right. So we have served almost 1,000 people this year that have never shopped at a pantry before.
And there's various levels of food insecurity, totally dependent on food pantries for their nutrition, and others that are a couple days short before payday.
Right, exactly. But I think to that point, it's the cost of groceries, the cost of housing, the cost of everything has gone up past minimum wage, certainly. And that's the other thing, is that we see a lot of people that shop at the pantry, 65% are working. They have employment, they're working hard to try to make ends meet, and there's not enough money in the pie. They can't divide it any other way. They just need that extra assistance.
And if you're making $15 an hour, the majority of your money is going to housing, probably.
Correct.
Here.
Correct. Well, that's about another 20% that we serve that are on a fixed income. They're retired or they can't work and receive that monthly income, and almost 90% for some of those folks goes to housing. And then what do you do with that remaining couple dollars a month?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then you got medicine.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And then that's where people are unfortunately in that position of choosing between medicine and food. And we get a lot of reports, and Johnson County Public Health did a food security assessment this summer where they learned that a lot of people are either reducing meals or skipping them altogether because they just can't afford it.
So for those that have a little bit of extra income that they can possibly donate to you, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so nlcpantry.org/donations is a great place for us to go, and having access to monetary donations allows us to source a lot more food than if somebody were to go to a grocery store and purchase items. That we have access to wholesale prices that are specific to nonprofits, and we can get 5 meals for every $1 we spend.
And when can you, like, if you are a gardener with an overabundance of produce, can you donate any time, or just when the pantry's open, or how does that work?
So great question. Donation hours are Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But if that doesn't work, please call us and schedule a time. Or if you have an abundant harvest, we have a few farms and larger gardens that we coordinate a delivery with, so that we've got some staff and volunteers to help unload.
Well, that's awesome.
And this year, with immigration and all this crap going on, I would imagine you may have a little more coming in, simply because it's going to stay there in the field if not.
Yeah, we have certainly had a few farms reach out with requests for assistance, and that's where we're relying on our partners at Table to Table that do the gleanings and have volunteer groups that go out to help pick some of those crops. But that does sound like a challenge that has been happening this summer, that there's an abundance of produce and yet a lack of workers to help bring that home.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in, John. And if anybody would like a tour of the facility, just go to the website. And
Is your name John?
Sorry,
Ryan.
Did
That's
I
okay.
say John? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I've been called worse.
I'm sorry. Know where that came from. Oh, I know where it came from. Sorry. John's Coralville. Ryan is North Liberty.
That's okay. That's okay.
And you said you were half asleep today.
Boy, it's wrong.
Catching every mistake I make. Thank you very much.
What is that? I could do that blindfolded.
Ryan, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
My 16